Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tim, and this is another Real Ideal Gear Review. And today we're looking at the Borealis Sea Storm MK2 GMT. This is a watch that I ordered, oh boy, I think I ordered this back in August of 2022, and it finally arrived here earlier this spring. And I've been waiting for this because it was my first GMT. I knew that the GMT was kind of a big thing with the NH34 coming out, and it's been a great watch to wear. I really enjoy it. It's all set up for where my son is right now in Macedonia as far as the GMT goes. Home time is on the hands right now. So I really like this watch a lot. It's a pretty standard dive watch, although this is a 300 meters water resistant watch, so it's a little chunkier. So let's go through the typical review for this, which is size, fitment, finish, accuracy, and then legibility and lume. So for size, typical dive watch weight, it's a little bit chunkier because it is a 300 meter water resistant watch, so you're going to get a little bit more case heft to this watch. It has a ceramic bezel, and so that is great. It's also lumed. We'll get to lume here in just a second, but you'll notice there's a little bit of a dome to the crystal and dome to the bezel, so there's some texture even to the very top edge of this watch that I really like. As far as the size goes, it has a great fit. It's not too wide, it's not too long, it's a little tall, but that's what you get when you get a 300 meter water resistant watch. The fitment, great fitting watch. Screw in links so you can take the links out in and out pretty easily. Adjustable clasp, you have 4 adjustment positions, three places to move it. So I think that is very helpful when it comes down to making this watch fit on your wrist. One thing I don't like about this watch is it is a friction clasp. The main clasp is friction clasp. Is a friction clasp. I'm not sure if that's the right term for it, but this little tab right here just presses up against that little round bar right there, and that's what holds it in place. I've had on my Casio Pathfinder titanium version, I had for about 15 years, it had this clasp system, and over about 2 to 3 years I'd have to bend this little tab in to keep enough pressure so that this wouldn't unlock. Now it has a separate safety clasp over the top, which is extremely helpful, but that too is also based on friction. There is a little tab on the inside right here that this fits over, okay? And that wears out over time, especially if you're taking it on and off, all right? So just keep that in mind that this clasp is, I think it's weak, you know. Just having a push button clasp on the side here would have been huge. Milled parts on the inside, which is great, so it's very, very solid, very fluid, very easy to move around. As far as the fitment goes, I would give this a 10 out of 10. I think this is a great fitment. As far as the size goes, it's a typical sized dive watch. It's a little tall, but fitment-wise, it does a great job. Finish, I love the finish of this. I love the green and the black for the GMT bezel portion. The green arrow right here for the GMT, the green hand. The 3-hand set for the hours, minutes, and seconds is great. It's the right thickness, so it stands out against the black dial in the background. So the finish on this is awesome. It has almost a coin edge bezel to it. It has just the top corner of it, which is great because really that's kind of what you grasp when you're grasping the bezel anyway, is that top edge. Great bezel action, not too hard to move, and it's not real easy to move either. And when it comes down to a GMT, that's what you want because you don't want this thing moving around on you, okay? Drilled lugs, so that's helpful when you're swapping out. If you're going to put a strap on here, that's also helpful. Brushed steel all the way around, except for this beveled edge, has a little bit of high polish on it, which I think is a great touch. Adds a little bit of flash to it, but not a lot. But it just kind of catches your eye with a little bit of glimmer there. Accuracy, NH34, typical accuracy out of a mechanical automatic movement. And I have had no issues with it. I've used it for work, no issues on the time grapher as far as increased or decreased error. So it does a great job so far. So accuracy, I think, is good, and it's within the tolerances. Legibility, off the charts good legibility. Look at how the numbers stand out from everything else, and the numbers are big. You look at the 12, the 3, the 6, and the 9, and you can see those numbers really easily. They're big, bold numbers. The other hour markers or hour indices are great. You have at the 4:30 position your date window. which blends right in. It's also big enough to read. It's not real small, unlike the Phoebus Proteus. That window is just, it's circular and it's small. It just doesn't work. This is about as small as I can take, so I like the size of this. As far as the overall legibility of this, so this is a highly legible watch. Lume wise, it is right up there. This actually, I think I'm going to measure this against the Wise Adamascus. I think this is going to be a contender with the Wise Adamascus. I don't think it'll beat it, but I think it's going to be right on its heels when it comes down to brightness and also longevity. The entire bezel, as far as the numbers and all of the gradient numbers in here, these little tick marks in here, these are all lumed. So a lot of lume on this watch. When you charge it up with a UV light, or if you leave it out in the sun and go into a dark room, it is going to be bright and it will last all night easily. So great lume, awesome legibility. Water resistance is 300 meters. The functions for this, the reason I got it obviously is the GMT. The GMT piece is great. It allows you to have a second time counter measurement on the watch, and I love it. It works for me and it works for my family when we're out and about, or when I'm out and about. Excellent lume. You have the 24-hour bezel, so technically you could have 3 time zones if you knew how the GMT hand was set up, but anyway, there's just so many functions. Screw down, I didn't mention the screw down crown and the sign crown here. Great grip on the crown, and it really is a nice crown to grab onto and adjust if you need to. What is the strengths of this watch? The strengths are just great dive watch, great legibility, really good bracelet, easy adjustments on here. I like the fact that there are 4 on here, not 3. 3 to me is just too few. 4 is good. 4 is like the minimum. 5 or 6 is just icing on the cake. What doesn't work for me is the clasp. The clasp just, it makes no sense to me why they didn't put a push button deployment clasp right here where you have the buttons on either side with a safety clasp over the top. I think that's just, you're cheaping out on something that, this is what keeps your watch on your wrist and keeps it secure. I think that's an extremely important piece to a quality watch, just basic quality. So is this a work watch? Absolutely. I wear this to work. I wear it outdoors. I don't shy away from anything except for high impact stuff like splitting wood, maybe chainsaw work, but even there, that's kind of a vibration type tool. It's not really an impact tool. It has a sapphire crystal, so therefore I'm not too worried about doing any welding with this. You know, I have the glove. It generally goes over the top of this when I'm welding, but I'm not too worried about it because it's sapphire. Mineral crystal and acrylic, yeah, you're going to get some pitting if any of that stuff gets on there. So great work watch, great legibility, great sport watch. Do I wear this for dressy occasions? I would wear this for, you know, less than formal occasions. I think it does a great job. It's pretty subtle as far as the colors go. There's some other color schemes that are out there that are a little bit more vibrant, but I like this color scheme quite a bit. So overall, 9.7 out of 10. The big ding is on the clasp. It would have been a 10 out of 10 had the clasp been a push button deployment clasp. Other than that, it's a highly recommend watch. Highly recommend that you go to Borealis and look at these, check them out. It's a great mechanical automatic watch. This is Tim. This has been another Real Ideal Gear review. Leave your comments and questions down below. I try to respond to all of them, and we'll catch you next time.